All right, shalom, 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 Shabbat shalom. It's your brother Kazak, and I want to do a teaching today on a subject that has been on my heart this week. There are various different pros and cons with regards to voting. We're faced with a lot of decisions to make. We are looking at the system as a whole, and the powers that be that are governing, that are ruling the system, the prince and the power of the air, as we know, who is Satan, and he has his children that he has raised up in the last hour to try to keep his kingdom alive. Okay, so ultimately, now what I want to say is, ultimately, when we think about this kingdom, this earth or this world that we're in, the earth belongs to the Most High, but the system is not the Most Highest. But let me just do this here. Let's go to Ephesians, right? Ephesians 6, and it reads as follows. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, so now I want to read that. So we have to understand that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but it's against spiritual powers, against principalities, right? So now, let's go over to another place, and we're going to get a definition in a minute, but let's go over to John. Okay. And John says, 1 John 2:15 said, love not the world, right? Okay. Now, we're not talking about the earth, right? The Most High creation. We're talking about the system. Love not the world, right? He says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So we are not supposed to love the system, right? Now, many people have fallen in love with the system, right? But so far we've read where he said we're not to love the system, right? Now, does that mean we're not supposed to vote? We haven't got there yet, but I'm just kind of laying some groundwork here. Okay. Psalms 11:1. It says, in Yah do I put my trust, right? In Yah do I put my trust, right? In Yah, in the Most High, do I put my trust, right? How say we to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain? Okay. So the thing we want to make clear is that our trust is not in the government, brothers and sisters. Our trust is not in the president. Our trust is not in the elected officials, and prayerfully, their trust is not in their ability to, right? But our trust is not in them, but our trust is in the Most High, right? Our trust is, I put my trust, how say you, my soul, flee as a bird to the mountain. Verse 2, for lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privately shoot at the upright in heart. Okay, you see that? So the wicked has an agenda, right? But the Most High, and I don't want to I can get abstract, but the Most High, according to his foreknowledge, have chosen the wicked in their deed to fulfill his purpose, right? For what he foreknew, right? He did predestine them, right? To be, what does it say? He predestined them for what he foreknew. Let me see. Let me give it to you right. Okay. I know what the Spirit is saying, but I want to give you the reference so you can get it. Okay. Romans 8:29 says, for whom he did foreknow, right? He also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. So Acts 2:23 says, him being delivered by the determined counsel and the foreknowledge of Elohim, you have taken and by wicked hands have crucified and slain. Okay, so him being delivered by the determined counsel and foreknowledge of Elohim. So what I'm saying is everything that's happening in the government system, all of the powers that be, the Most High already knows what's going to happen, right? It's been predestined according to the foreknowledge, what the Most High knows, knowing that these things we're going to have already taken place. Okay, now let me get back to where I was. So going back to Psalms, so read 2 again. For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privately shoot at the upright in heart. That's what's happening with the system, brothers and sisters. That's why we're not supposed to put our trust in the system. But at the same time, am I saying we're not supposed to vote? I did not say that. Okay. All right. Now, verse 3 says, if the foundations, right, be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Okay. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Okay. We are supposed to build upon the foundation, right? That's already been laid, right? Now, boy, I'm telling you, this lesson is going another direction than where I wanted to go, but let's go with it. Okay. Let's go here to, I could go a lot of ways with this here. First, let's look at 1 Corinthians 3, and we're going to read, let's see, 1 Corinthians 3:10, we're going to read verse 10, 3:10, 11, and 12. It says, according to the grace of Elohim, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation and another built thereupon. But let every man take heed how he built up thereupon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is the Messiah, Yahshua. Right? Now, Ephesians 1:4 says, according as he have chosen us in him, right, before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. Right? Now, go to Ephesians 2:20 says, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, and Yahshua the Messiah himself being the chief cornerstone. So what are you saying, brother? I'm saying that the foundation has been laid, so the powers that be that are children of the seed, I got to take you there now. So let's go to Genesis 3. Okay. Genesis 3:15, it reads as follows. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So now we have what? We have the seed of the serpent, right? And we have the seed of the woman, right? Now, ultimately, we know the Most High's plan and goal is, right, for the seed of the woman to rule the earth and to reign with the Most High and his son on earth, where there will be perfect harmony, peace, and tranquil, right? The earth will be void of wickedness, disobedience, rebellion, and all of the works of the flesh, which is a result of the father, Satan, Halel, who the King James translator changed his name to Lucifer. All of the works of him, which is manifested in the form of the flesh, which is called, which Paul calls, Shaul calls, who you call Paul, says the works of the flesh, right? That is the seed of the serpent, because the serpent has embraced the flesh and he has adopted sons and daughters, those who follow him, In other words, those who disobey the Most High to follow the wicked one are now the seed of the serpent, which is what we're dealing with. So we talk about we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principality. We're dealing with the powers of darkness, right? That has infiltrated in humanity, right? To do what? To shake the fists at the Most High and said, we are not going to serve you. We're going to serve the one who you cast down, the one who rebelled against you, right? We're going to follow his law and not your laws, right? Okay. Now, I want to say this. Okay. Before I go, I haven't given my definition yet. I want to go to, let's go to Deuteronomy. I'm going somewhere. Stay tuned, okay? Deuteronomy 30, right? And let's see. I want to begin at verse 19, okay? I call heaven and earth to record this day against you that I have set before you life and death, blessings and cursings. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live, that thou may love Yah, thy Elohim, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and thou may cleave unto him, for he is thy life, right? And the length of thy days, that thou may dwell in the land which Yah swore unto thy fathers, right? To Adam, to Abraham, to Isaac, Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them, right? So now, what's the point I'm trying to make here, brothers and sisters? That the Most High has given man, first of all, Israel first, a choice, right? He said, you choose. The Most High is not in the business of making you serve him. That is a religious spirit. The Most High is a righteous and a just creator who has given mankind the ability to choose to serve the Most High, right? Or to disobey. He's not going to make you serve him, right? He's not going to do that. He can give you the right to choose, right? Now, let's back up a little bit, right? Let's go back because it didn't start with Israel. It started with the first man. Okay. Genesis 2, let's start at verse 9. Genesis 2 and 9. It says, and out of the ground made Yah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. Right? The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Right? Now let's skip down. Let's go down to verse 16. Let's start at 15. 2:15. And Yah Elohim took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Right? And Yah Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Right? Now, notice what the Most High didn't say. I'm not going to let you eat of this tree. It's there. I'm going to block it so you can't eat from it. Right? He didn't say that. He told the man, he said, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat of it. He commanded him. But did he make him not eat from it? No, because why? He ate from it. So he didn't force him to not eat. He commanded him not to eat, and he gave him the right to choose whether or not he's going to obey the Most High by not eating of the fruit, or whether he was going to disobey the Most High by eating of the fruit. So man, the Most High has given man an opportunity to do what? Choose. Right? We have the ability to choose. You cannot make a person serve the Most High. You cannot make a person obey the Most High. As much as we like to try to, all you can do is train them and let them make the decision. That's why we look at parents. Sometimes we look at our children, right? I trained the child, but I can't make that decision for that child. I trained that child in the way that child should go, but that child has chosen the path of destruction. We love them and we wish they would choose the right path, but for some strange reason, people just can't get it. They just choose the wrong path and they end down in the path. They end up, rather, I should say, end up or end down. And really it's down. They end down in the path of destruction. Even though you were a good parent, you may have been a single parent, right? You may have had a two-parent household. You'd raised that child, you raised that son, you raised that daughter, but yet they still are going down the wrong path of destruction. Whose fault is that? That's not your fault. Don't get a guilt complex. That person has chosen that path. Okay? When the first man, Adam, and you can read the story in your own time, he chose, right? The woman, it says she was deceived, but even in that, she still chose to follow the deception. Just like in today's time, sometimes we see something, we know it's wrong, but we still choose to follow the deception because something inside of us wants us to believe that is not what it is. It's not what it looks like. So the Most High is all about choice, brothers and sisters. He has given us the ability to choose.